So, if you're a spiritual entrepreneur and you say you want financial flow, but you're avoiding the thing that actually creates it, your numbers, if you're not looking at your numbers, you're not running a business. You're running on hope. And here's where I see, after working with hundreds of entrepreneurs in my mentorship practice and in my chartered professional accounting business, is you're avoiding the very thing that will set you free. And if you're not sure how to read your financial statements, that's not the right excuse. So when you stop looking at your numbers, and it doesn't have to be financial statements, it can be your bank account balance, it can be noticing the numbers of conversions you're having or calls you're having. Numbers is everywhere. And so when you stop looking and when you start avoiding, you turn off your power. You turn off your power and you get disconnected from the reality of the present moment. Just stay with me here. And what's interesting is we just had a lunar eclipse on Tuesday, I think. And on so it's full moon, lunar eclipse, total lunar eclipse. And that night, there was this big sonic boom in the sky with a bright flash. I live in the greater Vancouver area, and it was seen for miles and heard for miles. It shook houses. It's speculated that it's a meteor. I haven't heard the confirmation yet. But even before the eclipse, it's like a wake-up call almost, right? Like a flash. But even before I heard that or noticed it, the eclipse, I was getting this intuitive hit to finish what's unfinished. Finish what's unfinished, especially the numbers. And so I had to, we're in the middle of a building project, building something very special for you as well. Very high-end, elite, private, small numbers resort where we live. And it's quite fancy, and I have big dreams. So my dreams can be expensive. Maybe you notice when you go to buy something, you always gravitate towards the most expensive thing. That's me. Anyway, my partner has been asking me to do up a spreadsheet. You think I'm an accountant, I should be able to do this. No problem. Well, of course I can do it. No problem. I just didn't want to. And we can get this idea that we have it in our heads. We know what's in our bank account just by what's in our head. We know what it's going to cost just by calculating in our head. And to, wipe that myth out of there, getting it down on paper or getting it onto a spreadsheet can transform your reality. And I finally did it because we're getting very, very close to the start date and all of that. And we want to know where we're at and what we have to spend and what we've already spent and what's the dream. What do we want to get everything we want, and we don't want to run out of money. So I finally did it. I created the spreadsheets. Well, one workbook with a few spreadsheets in it, just to what have we spent? What do we have? Where are we going? What's coming from expenses based on our dream and what we want to pay too. Because you can overpay for simple things if you think you could have it all in your head and if you're not keeping track. Because I even did it on track with a white piece of paper and a pen. And then when I sat down and actually went through the transactions, looked at the canceled checks, went through the debits and e-transfers, and got it all into a spreadsheet and auto summed and all that kind of stuff, it was a different number. And it was quite a bit significantly different. So that makes a difference when you're trying to make decisions, and when you're setting goals for yourself too. So I did all that. Then that gave us a lot of power. That gave us the power to negotiate going forward, to prevent overspending on things that don't matter to us, and where do we want to allocate more money to, those types of things. And that way we can make powerful decisions. So even when I was an accountant and I was a consultant for a long time, and I know that there's this shame and fear around money. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it. And I'm always reminded of this thing that I've been saying all along. Having your books in order gives you decision-making power. When you can, whether you're doing the books yourself or if you're have a bookkeeper or an accountant, and it has to be regular. It can't just be once a year. And if you're looking at your numbers, you know how you can make a decision, and being decisive is extremely important, extremely important. So welcome to Receptive Radio. I'm Jennifer Seifert, your host. I'm going on over 3 years now with this Receptive Radio show, and I'm tuned into what's in the field. I tune into what's in the field, what's going on for clients, what's going on for people I talk to, and what's going on for me to get a read on what's important. And I've been getting the read that you need to finish what's unfinished. And many of you might know I come from a horse racing family, and we're in the year of the horse. And sometimes we put a lot of power into astrological events for why things are happening to us. But remember, you're the creator. You're inviting, you're in control. You're in control. So whatever you're doing is inviting what's happening to you. So if you want to invite more financial flow, you want to take your power back and close off any energy leaks or money leaks, if you're looking at your numbers, so that you can make decisions going forward and you can hit those goals that you're setting. So I hear a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, and not just spiritual, business owners have goals, but they don't even know where they're at right now. So if you don't know where you're at right now, how do you get to that goal? What do you have to change? What do you have to implement to get to that goal? What action steps? And so, yeah, the horse is coming in and it's got lots of momentum and energy, but being around horses for 49 years of my life, horses stand around a lot and graze. They know how to be. And so you need to be in the frequency of what you want in order to hit those goals. And if you're having shame, doubt, resistance, fear around look at your money, or avoiding getting things done around the numbers part of your business, you're not being the identity of this person that you want, that you want to be. You're avoiding some aspect of yourself. And so the horses will mirror back to you what is going off in your life. And if you're off, they'll drag you around, they'll kick you around, they'll beat you up, they'll bite you. So what they can do once you're in alignment with who you are and who you be, they can carry you, they can help you get there. And so that's what they really want to do. But we have to come into finishing and completing what we've started, or letting it go completely and starting over. And so money does bring up stress. It brings up overwhelm, brings up avoidance. I'll do it later. You might be leaving the numbers part to the last part of your business, but sales and marketing is all about numbers. Clients are about numbers. They're revenue generating sources. Your investments in your education, in your professional development, in your growth is all about numbers. And we need to remember that, revenue is numbers, connection calls are numbers, conversion rates are numbers, expenses are numbers, financial projections are numbers. So your goals are numbers. And if you want to make $2 million this year, there has to be a bridge between where you're at right now and how you're going to get there. And I've heard this before, is like, I don't want to look at my numbers because I don't want it to get me into a bad mindset or inform my subconscious. But if you're avoiding, there's the subconscious there right now. So accounting and numbers are universal. Like numbers are the language of the universe. Back, 30 years I was studying the Kabbalah, and the Hebrew language is a number. Every letter of the Hebrew language is a number. And the Greeks invented accounting, and balance is a mathematical formula of like assets plus liabilities equals earnings. But you can look at it this way: your energy plus your lack of energy, or your avoidance, or your resistance, either equals retained power or retained loss, like losing power. So what are you, where on your balance sheet, if you're the balance sheet and your assets are your energy, your mindset, your focus, your commitment, your responsibility, and your foundation, your numbers, and the liabilities are your avoidance, the stress, the worry, the fear, the doubt, the imposter syndrome. Where are you on that equation? Because it's a 1 plus -1 equals 0 formula. Assets plus liabilities equals retained power. And if I'm not making sense to you right now, call me up and let's talk about it. But currency is literally the word from current. And when money is flowing, you're in the current. But when you're avoiding your numbers, you're shutting off the current of flow. And then you stay in confusion. And knowledge is power. Information is power. Knowing your numbers and going right into them and looking at them gives you power. It gave me power the other day to negotiate, because I know we can't overspend. We have only allocated so much money that we want to spend on this project, and we don't want to overspend it. We don't want to not get what we want to get. And so to provide the retreat space for ourselves and for clients. And so if you stay in confusion by not looking at your numbers, you're staying out of your leadership. A $2 million business has a lot of responsibility. And this also goes to capacity too. So if you're wanting to make $2 million, but you're only able to make $2,000 right now doing what you love, there's a capacity barrier there. And so where are you avoiding? Where are you having shame? Where are you doubting? Where are you getting confused? These are all things that come up when you set a really high goal like that. And you need to be able to have freedom and flow for that current of $2 million to come in, because there's a lot of responsibility when you get $2 million. What are you going to do with that money? Do you want to spend it all? If you don't know your numbers, it'll be very easy to spend it all. And if you want to be philanthropic, you want to take care of your family, you want to travel, you want to do all those things, you need to be able to manage it, and you have to account for it, right? And when you're staying on top of your numbers and you're in the current of flow, you're present, you're in present moment. But when you're avoiding your numbers and avoiding even looking at them or dealing with them, you're really in the past. You're not in the current moment. You're in the past. You're just dragging that doubt and that shame and worry and anxiety around your numbers with you. Even if you say, oh, I don't worry about it. Well, you might be good at blocking it out. So what's the practical application here? It's just really simple. Just start looking at your numbers. Okay, looking is one thing. But just look. And then notice what comes up for you. But don't go in as like, oh, I want to look at my bank account, and from shame or from judgment, but go in with curiosity. It's like, oh, interesting. Because, we're tapping all the time, we're debiting all the time. We don't really know, you can tap, 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 tap at multiple stores, and you're trying to keep track in your head how much you're spending, but it adds up quickly. It adds up quickly, and you might have overspent because you were tapping away. So you want to know what you're spending, where you're earning it, where are the leaks, where are the opportunities? Because maybe you're not spending at all and you're still avoiding in your numbers, but you have a lot of money in the bank. And so you should be, doing something with it, especially if you want to grow your business. And so it can feel overwhelming. And I've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs on this. It can feel overwhelming. And I've had lots of people bring me years worth of bookkeeping and years behind in doing it. And we got it straightened out, and they had relief. And if that's you, come to me, tell me this. I'm good with you about it. You're like most people. But if you want to be a real leader, you want to stand out and you want to step apart from most people, and you want to be of service to most people. Knowing your numbers will help you do that, And they're really here to inform you so you can make better decisions. Decisions are power. Information is power. It's also structure. It's also awareness. It's also responsibility. You're here to make an impact, and money will help you make an impact. Being present in the current of flow will help you to make that impact. And the entrepreneurship journey is a journey of healing, of clearing, of dealing with things. Maybe this is the time now. This is what I'm picking up from the universe, my universe, or the greater universe. The collective consciousness is like, there's a lot of spiritual activity going on in the field. There's a lot of cosmic events and alignments, but they're really guiding us to get into alignment and balance with ourselves in all ways. So if there's something around money and your financial flow that's surfacing right now, bring it to me. And I also have I still have the Activate Your Prosperous Life VIP experience going. And you can get into one of the prosperity rooms and really get some support, whether it's around your numbers, your relationships, your business, marketing, sales, your spiritual journey. You can bring that into the room and we'll work with it directly. And I'll give you guidance of what your next step is. But I know for myself, sometimes I think I know the numbers in my head and I let my bookkeeping and my numbers slide, but it really does cause a block. And as soon as I start cleaning it up and organizing it, I feel better because then I know where I've spent my money and I know how much money more I have to spend and I know how much I want to make and how, I can make decisions. I have more power. And it's always refreshing when you're in your power. And so I'll put the link back up for the prosperity portal where you can come in and bring your, that's the wrong banner, by the way. You can bring your questions. You can bring your fears around money and numbers. And then let's, put our heads together so that you can come into alignment with what you really want, which are those goals. Those goals, you being of service, creating more things for yourself, traveling, having the freedom to choose with money in the bank. But you got to look at the money in the bank so that you can make it start expanding. So I'd love to see you in the Zoom rooms for the VIP expansion experience. You also get access to powerful gifts, interviews from amazing speakers, 1 month free of life force activation, which is the practice space to really expand your capacity to receive more. And it's not just about, vision. Prosperity is not just about vision or word. It is about numbers. It is about self-awareness, clarity, responsibility, and leadership. And knowing your numbers is really a small, simple way to get a foundational anchor of your business in alignment with your goals, your dreams, your purpose work, your mission. And if you've been feeling avoiding or shameful, come in. Let's clear it out and get you into clarity again.